So just there's a few people that registered and couldn't make it, so they might see that. If you really don't want to be on any recording, just make sure that you leave your camera off. But if you are able to jump on, we'd love to see your faces because, yeah, like I said, it's so much nicer being able to actually talk to people. We're really excited to be here tonight. My name is Megan and I am the team leader for Team Zest. And for the senior team leader for the recently formed Coastal Gems branch. So we're now our own little branch operating for the South Coast. So from Helensburgh all the way down to Eden. So we've finally all sort of come back together after being split up and caretaken. And we're our own little branch and we're really excited to be growing and to be bringing you guys lots of Thermomix for our entire region. So lots of opportunities for you to jump on board and be part of that too. If you're interested in joining the team, we would love to know about it no matter where you are along that South Coast. So please talk to your consultant or reach out to a team leader or to myself and let us know. We've also got Sally, who is our newest team leader, and she's the team leader for Team Sapphires down in Maroondah. And then we have Kim Flugler, who is our team leader for the Dragonflies in Georges Basin area. So thank you for being here tonight with us, everybody. We would just love to know who's come here tonight because they're interested in learning a bit about the TM6 because they're considering a TM5 trade up. Give us a little show of your hands. I actually can't see on that view gallery. All right, and for those of you that have already got a TM6, maybe here to learn a little bit more about the modes and the functions. There's probably some of you too. Awesome. So if you guys have any questions, please jump off mute, shout them out, pop them into the chat. I know that we've got Talene and Lisa in the audience as well. They're consultants in our area. Lita. So if any of you guys see, and we've got Melissa and Joe, if any of you guys see questions pop up, please shout them out to us in case we miss them, because we'd love to be able to answer them as we go. But we'd love for this to be really interactive too. So please don't feel like this is just a TV show that you're watching. We'd love you to get involved. We want to answer all of your questions. So what we're going to do is go through some of our modes tonight and explain them a bit more to you. And then we'll go through a little bit about Cookie Do at the end as well. So yeah, let's get going. We're going to start with Sally, who's going to take us through the rice cooker mode.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. And I am starting off with the recipe called the South African yellow rice, and it's using the rice mode. So I'd love to see in the chat if anyone has tried the rice mode yet. It is a wonderful way to make recipes, and I am going to show you this way. It's a different basically to the recipe called the boiled rice, which we all know. That generally is basically using the rice that most of you probably have heard of before with your basket and water in the bowl, whereas that's steaming, so it's less starchy. But this one is the absorption method, and there's some wonderful recipes to trial and use as well. And you can also use it manually through a rice cooker collection, and there's quite a few of those as well. So we're going to start cooking. I've got all my ingredients with me, and let's give that a go. So first of all, simmering basket is used, as we know, for different things. This time, this is going to be used to rinse the rice. So I'm just going to pop in the long grain white rice, which I'll pop in here. And I'll give that a little rinse. I thought I'd show you that because, again, it's basically easy to cook. Cooking the rice. Let's just give that a quick rinse. So generally, I'm giving a quick rinse like so. And that just helps with the cooking process. And I'm going to pop the rinsed rice into the bowl this time. So And then I'm going to add in 650 grams of water. 20 grams of vegetable oil, or olive oil I use, your choice. A teaspoon of salt. I'm just using a little bamboo box from the mix shop. It's really handy next to my Thermomix. And now we're getting our flavouring. So this one's basically with turmeric, cinnamon, which comes out at the end, and sultanas. And then at the very end of the cooking time, we add some butter and sugar. So it's a beautiful aromatic rice recipe. So in goes the turmeric. So, and give that a little stir. All the ingredients are in there. And then it basically asks for, through the hole in the lid, a cinnamon quill. So again, this is for all the spices and flavors, and 40 grams of raisins. Again, this is choice whether you want to put those in or not, but you do need to try this rice dish if you've not done it before, because it really is delicious. And then we're going to use our simmering basket on top of the mixing bowl lid, like so. And again, the rice cooker mode, again, hopefully you can see my screen. It basically has the mode, which we're just going to turn the selector to start that off. And it's going to work out the timing for the rice and how it cooks. That little sound you heard was a little piece of rice which I'd flicked up. So that was the rice there. So it's giving us an approximate timing. So it works it all out of 28 minutes. Now this does change as you go. It kind of works all the timing out, and it might well reduce, but approximate timing is 28 minutes for cooking time. So we'll come back at the end of that if that's all right, Megan, and that's when I'll pop in take out the cinnamon, add the butter and the sugar, and give that a stir and taste as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Sal. I'm excited to see this recipe. We love rice cooker mode in my house, but that is not a recipe that I've actually tried.
Okay.
All right, we're going to head over to Kimmy and we're going to talk about the high heat mode. You're still on mute, Kimmy.
Hello, everyone. I'm off mute now. I'm going to talk about high heat, and high heat is actually not a mode on your screen. It is actually, you get that through the Cookie app. So if you look up high heat or saute or caramelize, you will get all the things that you can use the high heat for. So I'm going to do some caramelized onions. And to get started, I'm going to add some oil. And then I'm going to add just some brown onions, and it says to cut them in wedges. So I've just halved them and cut them into 4 or 5 pieces. So we want 400 to 500 grams, and I think I've got close to 500 of those. And then I'm going to put the splash guard on top, which has got the covered in space here that goes over the hole, but it still lets out the steam. And then just turn it. It's going to go for 20 minutes. So the 3 little lines there is actually the symbol for the high heat mode. And what it does is it actually stirs it, then it'll stop, it heats it up, and you'll hear it sizzle. So it's just like it's sitting on a cooktop, and then it will move it again around just as if you were going to stir it, and it'll stop and it'll keep going like that. So if you want to use something, say you want to brown some chicken, just look up sauteed chicken or sauteed beef, and you can do that if you're wanting to make something else with a recipe that you just need some browning of the meat or some onions or something like that. There's plenty of things, so capsicums, zucchinis, mushrooms, all things like that. You can use your high heat if you want to add it to another recipe if you're cooking something else. So that's your high heat function. to you now, Megan.
Ah, hello. Yes, me. Okay, what are we doing? We are going to talk about slow cooking. Sorry, I was trying to find cookie dough recipes in the background, and my Zoom has stopped being an app on my laptop. Someone might be able to tell me how to fix this, and so now I can't just click the bottom where it used to be an app. I have to close everything to find it. Anyway, that's a later problem. So, slow cook mode in your Thermomix. We've all had slow cookers, love slow cookers, put things on, use those cheaper cuts of meat and really make them stretch a bit further. And now we can do that in the TM6. We can preset our Thermomix to cook for between 4 and 8 hours. So in previous models, we could only do a maximum of 90 minutes, whereas now we can really set it to go for quite a bit longer. So I have actually had a piece of silverside slow cooking in this Thermomix for about 3 hours. All right, so I'm going to show you because it's pretty much done. Oh. Follow that down. How beautiful that is. We're almost at, I like mine to kind of be at pull apart stage. So it'll need a little bit longer, but just like your slow cooker, I just add in my water and my vinegar and my bay leaf and all of the aromatics that go in it. We do have a blade cover, which is like this. We also have a plastic one that came out before this one. This one also peels your veggies, which I'll go into a little bit later. But this one kind of superseded the plastic one. I'm actually not even sure if the plastic blade cover is still available. Is it, guys? Does anyone know? Don't know. So this sits over the top of the blades. It just sits on top. And what it means is that your food can sit on top of the blade. The blade can still spin around underneath, so the liquid can still move around, but your food isn't getting chopped up. So you can sit that big chunk of silverside on top. You can sit your rolled up meatballs if you want to do slow cooked meatballs. You can sit your chicken drumsticks if you want to do bones and things like that, and they won't get into the blades. So the slow cooker mode works really well. And I wanted to do silverside tonight just to show you how much you can fit in. So this is a 1.4 kilo piece of silverside, so fairly decent sized piece of silverside in the bowl with all the liquids, the carrot, the onion, the garlic, all of those bits and pieces as well. And obviously uses very little electricity. So that's one good thing about the Thermomix. So when you're slow cooking, you know, it's safe to leave on, safe to go away with, and that'll do its thing. While I'm here, I'm going to just show you a little video on the sous vide mode. So has anyone here had a go at sous vide yet? Anyone been getting a little bit chefy? So sous vide mode is when we cook something at a low and slow temperature, but at a very controlled temperature in a water bath. So your Thermomix is perfect for that because it has the precise temperature control and it will hold that temperature without it going up and down, up and down. You know, old sort of fry pans and slow cookers used to kind of heat, they'd get to a heat and they'd get too hot and they drop right back down and then they come back up, whereas your Thermomix just holds it at a very precise temperature. So I'm going to just show you this little video, hopefully. Where is it? Here we go. How the sous vide works. Hopefully it's going to load and play nicely. No, it's not. So we're going to ignore that. Okay, moving right along. Sous vide is easy to do. We have some fabulous tools in the mix shop where you can sous vide to help you sous vide. So these vacuum seal bags and this little vacuum wand. So you can see that this has got a little patch on it. And the wand just sits over there and sucks all the air out once you've vacuum sealed it. So this is a really easy way to do it. if you don't have all of this get up yet, you can actually just use some good quality Ziploc bags and the immersion method. And that's just simply kind of putting your food in, mostly sealing it up, immersing the bag in water and letting all the air out, and then sealing it up. Just make sure you've got really good quality plastic bags so that they're BPA free and all of those sorts of things. And sous vide your salmon, sous vide your steak. You can do sous vide scrambled eggs. You can do sous vide strawberries for a dessert. It's just a really gentle way of cooking your food to a really precise temperature. If you were doing your steaks, you could sous vide them. You know, if you like medium or rare steaks, you could get them to that perfect temperature and then just quickly sear them in a really hot pan to get that color on them. And your dinner guests will think that you are a cordon bleu chef. And that's thanks to your Thermomix. All right, we're going to go over to Sally, who's going to show us the fermentation method.
So my favorite mode is the fermentation. When the TM6 came out, I was actually really besides myself, because I knew that this was going to open up a lot of possibilities. So I love to ferment lots of things, and this is basically like a fermenting incubator. Again, keeping the constant temperature between generally 18 and 22 for that perfect fermenting stage. Again, we've got some collections with some wonderful recipes. I love the kimchi and the sauerkrauts. There's even some breads that you also kickstart as an incubator as well. So we're going to try tonight making, or I do quite often make, this pot set plain yogurt. And there's plenty of other favorites that I do, but this one is an easy one because it's going to basically use the warm-up mode to bring the milk to temperature, and then we go from there. So I'm just going to, again, start cooking. Very easy, because really our yogurts that we buy in the shops... Oh, I've got a little guest who's my dog Rebel, who's supposed to be downstairs up, so I hope she doesn't trip on my leads. She was banished downstairs. Anyway, so the cost of basically a litre of milk, you can choose the quality of your milk, but a full cream milk does work well, and it can go from there. So it's a very cost-saving recipe to make, and this is where you're going to save money in your Thermomix, absolutely. And you can choose to make 2 litres as well in some of the recipes using your bowl method. Okay, so the first step, I'm just going to tear, is when you first start making the yogurt, you choose your culture that you like the taste of the yogurt of to start you. And then once you've made your first batch, you don't need to keep buying your pots. So just because I love, my favorite is this one. And I also like to check the ingredients on the back too with the strains. When you're happy with your yogurt choice, then choose that one. And then the next batch you make, you'll just save the amount of yogurt from your prepared batch straight away in the morning, for example, and put that aside, labeled with starter for next yogurt. If you don't label it, it might get eaten. So I'm just going to pop in here the 120 grams. Oh, a little bit more, like so. And then this recipe uses 800 grams of milk. As I said, some of the other recipes go up to 2 litres, and they're using the bowl method for the fermentation. Okay, so in goes the milk. I like this brand because it's a quality one, but you can even go up to using, even in our area, we've got a dairy called Tilba, and that's kind of a much higher price for yogurt, but still a really nice creamy taste and still a quality yogurt to make as well. And still at the end of the calculations, it's still much cheaper to make your own kind of Tilba yogurt than it would be to buy it in a shop, basically. I'm skipping the sugar, your choice. So basically a Greek yogurt is just without the sugar. It is optional, so your choice there. And the other good thing too with the sugar is that you can choose to decrease it as your family need to go down the sugar, or you can keep it at the same. You sort of choose your sweet spot when you've made it. Okay, so I've just got 30 seconds speed 4. So I'm just going to give that a whiz to mix through. Again, don't forgetting you can use the preview to see what's coming next. And this is going to use the warm-up mode to basically heat the milk up to 37 degrees. And then when that's done, we're going to use the incubative aroma. And I'll pop the contents. I've already sterilized the white thermoserver. I'll pop the contents into that, and then we'll ferment it at that stage as well. So that next one, again, warm-up mode. I don't know if anyone's used the warm-up mode, but again, beautiful for soups, baby foods, sort of recipes that they need to be sort of a liquid in them, a stew or a curry even. But there is a warm-up mode that's fantastic too to have a look at on your modes. So 37 degrees, turning that selector just to warm that through. Not sure how long that will take, Megan. I think from memory, it's only going to take a few minutes. So I'll give you a wave when it's got those contents warmed through.
Awesome. Thanks, Sal. I just want to add in one other little tip with the yogurt that I find really helpful is these little Sistema pots. So I use these and I can fit 9 in the Varoma, and they're perfect for my kids to take to school. Instead of buying those pouches, which cost, you know, $2, $2.20 each, I can make a whole batch of yogurt for about $2 and get 9 of these out of it, and they're not going to break them. So
yeah, that's a really good tip. The amount of, when my kids were at school, which was a long time ago, the amount of money spent and packaging on those yogurts that we do, incredible. So this is a really good sustainable way. Love it. Yeah.
Great, thank you. All right. Now, Sally, just while we're with you, that lovely white thermoserver that you've got there. Come off mute.
Yep. So this is accessible. Host a demo and grab one of these. They are amazing. I love it. So good for cold recipes, gelatos in the summer. Yeah, really good. So, and again, it fits. The reason too is it fits perfectly. Hang on a minute. It fits perfectly into that steaming dish, and then the lid will go on top when we get to that incubation fermentation stage as well.
Perfect. Yeah, we love it. The white thermoserver is just a little bit shorter so that it does fit in to your Varoma. Talene's also just posted a link for the glass jars, which are gorgeous, and I love making mine in those, but I couldn't let the kids take those to school, so that's why I found the Sistema pots work really well. But who here hasn't got a thermoserver yet? Is there anybody out there that doesn't have a thermoserver? Because thermoserver is life-changing, and you should probably all have a big pile of them like I do up there, because everybody needs them. My husband tried to tell me we need to reduce that shelf the other day, and I nearly kicked him out of the house. So hosting a demo, showing your Thermomix love to your friends is the best way to get some thermoservers in your cupboard, along with lots of other great host rewards as well. We've got the silicone bake mats, which are fantastic for bread making, dough, all of those sorts of things. We've also got the not this. The new Thermomix sensor is currently a limited time host reward. For those of you with a TM5 that don't have a cook key yet, if you're not connected to Wi-Fi with your TM5, the cook key will enable you to connect to Wi-Fi and Cookie Do. And that is a limited time host reward at the moment. So host a demo, get a significant discount on that, and get yourself connected. Your consultant loves coming out to see you. It's why we do what we do, because we love it. All right, Kim, thicken mode.
Yep. So I'm going to do lemon butter. So I like the thicken mode, which you can access on the screen by just swiping. I'll use this other one. Just swiping to the left, and that will get all your modes, and your thicken mode is down there, so you can use that. So I'm going to make the lemon butter. So I've just cleaned and sterilized my jars. Now I'm going to place some white sugar into the bowl. And I like this because it just stirs it till it gets to the heat, and then it actually whips it to get it thickened, and it will actually sense how long it needs to go for in the bowl. So that's what I like about this recipe. And I use this for roast lamb or to make the gravy. So just strain off your pan juices, add some stock, some water, and the thickening agent you want to use, and then just go into thicker mode, and it will just sense how long it has to go for. So we're going to add 150 grams of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 120 grams of butter, and 3 eggs. And then we're just going to pop the lid on with the measuring cup in. And it's set to 80 degrees, and we just turn the thicken mode, and there's no time yet. It will come up during the cooking process, and then it will just keep cooking. So it'll probably get a little bit noisy, so I'll go back on mute.
Shall I just finish off the yogurt stage? Because that was great timing there. Don't know how we did that. So yes, it's reached its 37 degrees, and I'm just going to pop this now into the thermo server, which I've already got here, but I'll just balance it on here. And when we are fermenting, actually I'll pop the lid on now. Well, when we're fermenting or we're even slow cooking, we actually do need to add some sort of something acid to the water. So I'm using this lemon juice because it's just cheap, like $1. I'm not going to use my good lemons. So first of all, we're just going to put the water in, because this is going to kind of ferment for 10 hours. So I'm just going to add that in. Generally covers the blades, but just weigh it like so. There we go, 250. And then we're going to squeeze in our absorbic acid. And you've got lemon juice like this, works well. It just stops any, not that I've ever observed this before, but it basically says it stops the rusting of the blades because they're going so long overnight. But I've never seen that yet in my years with being a Thermomix consultant and now new role. So then the next step is just to pop on this into position. So again, what's going to happen is this is going to act like an incubator. So with the lid on, the temperature is going to reach the required amount to ferment, which is 70 degrees here, but here it's going to keep that window of correct stable temperature to ferment the yogurt. So we've got 10 hours, 70, and again the fermentation mode, which again you can find through swiping across as well to fermentation, but just set that one off. And the tips for that too, I recommend, is just if your bedrooms are close by, you can go to your settings, you can go to your sounds and turn the volume down. If you're sleeping longer than 10 hours, then you probably aren't, but you know, that's the sort of thing that you can always just, the tips, change the volume in your sounds down, which is on low anyway, but that just helps as well. And then basically when you get up in the morning, that just goes into the fridge. It does really help set the yogurt if it's left in the fridge for 2 hours. It's still eatable straight away if it's for breakfast. And of course you can use, instead of that white thermo service like Megan's got, or mine are all being used at the moment, but I've got some dried herbs, but these are actually called the yogurt jars on the mix shop. So you can get 8 of those, and you can pop those in as well. But again, they're more for grab and go for in the fridge, not really for lunch boxes. I think Megan's idea was terrific to use instead as well for kids' lunch boxes. Okay, mine's incubating. Over to you guys.
All right. I think, Kim, you're ready to just show us a bit more about your onions.
Yeah, so now my onions have done a caramelized onion. You can see the base. Add some balsamic vinegar. And excuse me, because my other Thermomix is now going into the spinning mode. So we're just going to add 20 grams of balsamic. And an 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to stir to combine. And now we're going to place the simmering basket on top. And that's going to go for another 3 minutes. And the temperature's actually gone up now to 120 degrees. And it's just going to give it a slow stir to caramelize the balsamic.
Lovely. Thanks, Kimmy. All right. We are going to have a look at the cutter and the peeler. So, the elusive cutter. Who's got a cutter? Anyone? Yet? Not yet? All right. So I'm actually going to show you the peeler first, because then we're going to cut our peeled potatoes. So, yes, your Thermomix does peel and grate and slice. How many times have we been asked that as consultants? All right. So our blade cover peeler, you can see, so doubles as your slow cooker and your peeler. So it sits on top of your blade, and we add in 600 grams of water. About there. And you can add in up to 800 grams of hard vegetables. So potatoes, for instance. I've just got 2 red potatoes here that I've cut in half, and I'm popping those in. And I'm not sure, the light's quite bad in here for you to see, but I'd like to be able to show you the screen if I can. That might be just enough. All right, so when we go over to our modes, down here we've got our peeler mode. Goes off the info. So it automatically presets 4 minutes, which is, they say, you know, approximate time it'll take, and I just turn it on. Now, when I turn it on, it's going to be a little bit noisy. The potatoes are going to bounce around on that blade and peel, and will come back to me because you won't be able to hear me talk over it because Zoom will cut it out, I think. So let that do that thing. And Sally.
Yep, I can take you to the next step. That was a very quick 27 minutes for the rice cooker recipe. I do think it was a little bit quicker than that. Anyway, it's just finished, so great timing again. So let's have a look and see what is happening. So basically, I'm just going to tilt my screen to show you the lovely colour. So I will just discard the cinnamon stick. And I, again, am going to use thermo servo to keep the rice nice and hot. So I'll just pop that all in. And I'm going, next is to add the tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of brown sugar and then fluff with a fork to combine. So just popping that all in here. I think my screen's a bit. So that's come out beautifully. So in goes some brown sugar. And there's a beautiful, but I can't remember the name of it, but there's a beautiful, do you remember, Megan or Kim, the name of the savoury mince from the South African collection that goes well with this? There's a savoury mince that's gorgeous. And again, I haven't got a fork, it's over there. But I'm just going to move that around like so. And again, just that savoury sultana coming through. The aromatic smell of that. I wish there was smell-o-vision. Looks and is going to be amazing. So there you go. And just for the next one, serve warm. So again, if you've got a dish to go with that, I'll have a little look for the one that I was thinking of, and I'll pop it in the chat. I'm just also going to let I think it was Alison who was asking about the nut-based yogurt, so I'll put some links in there too. Okay.
So my caramelized onions has finished. So I'll just tip them out. So these would be really nice on burgers or to make and then put into a pumpkin and goat's cheese tart. So you can see they're nicely browned and cooked. And our lemon butter has already finished as well. So I have my glass jars. I might just put it down a little bit so you can see. So this makes 600 grams, but you can also make 1,300 grams if you were doing it for a Christmas hampers or something like that. And I'm just going to put the funnel there. Okay. So just seal those. And one of the things I like to do when I make lemon butter or jam or anything like that is once it's done, I like to turn it upside down and it just helps to seal it. And as it cools, it will actually get thicker. And once it's sort of got to room temperature, then I would pop it into the fridge, turn it back up the right way and pop it into the fridge. And that'll be ready for some gifts for some people. Do you want me to do the clean now, Megan?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to use the pre-clean function, which is also on the mode screen, if you can see that. Just swiping over and go to pre-clean. And for this one, I'm going to do a universal clean. So I just need to put up to the 1 mark on the Thermomix, some water. And just a drop of dishwashing liquid. around the top. That back on. And it once again, it'll sense how dirty the bowl is. And you've actually got a short mode of which goes for 2 minutes. So if you've just made a smoothie or you've just done something that a soup or something like that, you can use the short mode. If you've done dough, the dough mode doesn't actually heat the water, so it doesn't cook the dough onto the blade. So that's a really good one if you've made pastry or scones or biscuit dough or anything like that. And then you've got your fat and caramel and your browning mode, which the browning mode is what I'll use on the one that's just done the onions, because I've got a little bit of catching on the bottom. So I will just add some bicarb soda to that and let it soak for a little while, and then just do a browning clean on that one. It's about a teaspoon of bicarb. It just helps lift it, and it'll just wipe off once it's there.
Awesome. Thanks,
Is
Kim.
that me? Have I finished?
I think so. I think so. All right. So my pre-clean mode has finished. Now, I pulled these potatoes out of my potato bucket, and they were quite a bit old and soft and growing things. And when they're a bit soft, they don't peel quite as well as if they were hard. So there is still a little bit of red left on there that you'll notice, but that's okay. I'm actually not adverse to eating a bit of potato skin. So that's totally fine. But you will definitely find if you've got fresh, hard potatoes, they peel much better than if you've let them get a little bit soft in your pantry, like mine have. So I'll just take this out, and I'll have to tip it down the sink. So that I can talk to you about our next couple of modes. First of all, I'm going to show you the cutter. So you can actually use the cutter and the peeler in your TM5. You just have to use them manually. Whereas on the TM6, we do have a mode button to use them. So with the cutter, we have what's called the shaft, and that goes over the blade. And then this is my favorite part. It has its own bowl. So even though it fits inside the bowl, you just do your prep, put it to the side, and your bowl is still clean, ready to go. And then we have the blade itself, and this has two sides. It has a slicing side and a grating side. So we choose whichever side we want. So I'm going to start with the slicing side. Go back over to my modes to the slicing mode, and I'll take my potato and turn that on to thin. So we've got two options, thin and thick. And now I'll do one on thick as well. And I will show you the difference. Who likes making potato bakes but can't stand all of that slicing? How about this? Right? Very thinly sliced, and there's the extra thinly sliced. See that? It's like see-through. So your cucumbers, your potatoes, your carrots, your zucchinis, beetroots. On pizza night, I slice my capsicum, my mushrooms. What else? Yeah, so much. Taco night. It's so good. Yeah, like Lisa said, no more losing your nuts and adding a bit of skin into your grated cheese and carrot. All right, I'm going to show you now the grating mode. So I'll just go back over to grating. And again, we've got thin and thick. So I'll do half the carrot one way and half the other, just to show you the difference. So the grating is beautiful if you like your coleslaws with like long, thin strands. If you like your cheese grated long and thin. Actually, like for Asian style salads and rice paper rolls and things like that. For the thick grate, when a recipe calls for julienne carrots, I use the thick grate because they're basically julienne in, as you saw, a couple of seconds. So it really takes that time out of prep work. And I know lots of us have had food processors, but they're chunky and they've got lots of blades and they're in the bottom of your cupboard and you think, oh, I can't be bothered getting it out. I'll just chop it by hand. Your Thermomix is living on your bench. So having this little adaptation right here where it's always accessible is just amazing. All right, just remember, always take your shaft out. Too many people have turned on their Thermomix and chopped up their shaft doing the next thing. So just have it, it always comes out. All right, the last mode that I'm going to talk to you about is another one of our favorites. It's the egg boiler mode. Who loves dippy eggs? Who loves perfectly cooked hard-boiled eggs that haven't gone green around the outside because you forgot about them and left them too long? Your Thermomix now has an egg boiler mode so that your eggs are perfect every time. We love that. So because the blades don't turn, we can put up to 6 eggs in the bottom and then we top it up to the 1 litre line with water. And we go into our egg boiler mode and we select how we like our eggs cooked. So you've got the option of soft, medium hard, or hard. How many choices can you have with your eggs? You select what you want, it dings at you when they're done, you tip them out, rinse them, perfect eggs every time. How good is that? Amazing. My kids no longer have to have dippy eggs that don't dip. I'm like, oh, my toast is just bending in half. Now they get the runny eggs, which is amazing. I think that is the end of me. We're coming back to you, Sal.
Yes, back to me. And I just remember when my kids were little and I'd time the egg in the pot and pop it into the egg cup and there was the white jelly stuff and those tears. So, you know, this just cuts out all of that. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, yes, I am going to talk about the sugar stages. So like the high heat, when you swipe your modes, and there's all these modes there, you won't actually come up with the high heat or the sugar stages. Basically, sugar stages is similarly taking the Thermomix or the TM6 to that highest heat possible, which is 160. So the high heat and the sugar stages can be accessed by a guided recipe. So think who loves crunchies, violet crumbles, creme caramels, peanut brittles. I profess that I used to love crunchies, and when the TM6 came out, I thought, I don't know why what everyone's talking about, because I'm the fermenting person here. Anyway, so I made that honeycomb and I couldn't stop eating it. It's delicious. So the secrets of the sugar stages is to basically follow the recipe, use the sugar that they're recommending. So if it's Demerara sugar, for example, in one of the brittles or one of the toffees, then use that particular sugar. And yeah, follow the recipe to the exact amounts and work quickly, because again, when you finish off a honeycomb recipe, it's like the lava. You kind of need to work with it with your spatula to get it into the tray, so have those ready. But brilliant there's been many classes through Thermomix Australia, the Perth on their Facebook. They've had some great sort of fondant recipes, and I just have tried several, like the lollipops or the brittles, and they've all been fantastic. So yeah, it's recommended to give that a go. Fudge as well, soft caramels, nougat or nugget in England. And yeah, it's the consistency again of the genius way that the temperature's held that gives that accurate result. I could have a go, Megan, and see what my Wi-Fi is like, to see if I can share the screen to do the sugar stage little video, if you like.
Yeah, do you want to have a try?
I'll have a try. We just see how we go.
Mine was not happy.
Yeah. I'll just see if I can do that now. Oh, what's that sharing? I don't know if that worked then. Stop share. No, that wasn't correct. Hang on, let's just try one more time. Clunky as we go. Hang on. Bear with me. Share again. I had it ready to go. Let's just try one more time. There. Can you all see that?
Yep.
I'm in the right place. Okay,
Right, let's go for it.
So I'm just going to click on this here and let's see how we go with the connection. So just a minute's video of putting the sugar stages together. Okay, who's going to give one of those a go?
Awesome. Thanks, Sal. All right. Well, I think we've come to the end of showing you all of our modes, but what I wanted to do was just quickly jump on and give you a quick run around on Cookie Do, because Cookie Do is one of the really big changes from the TM5 to the TM6. Those of you that have got yourself a cookie, you have opened up your world to Cookie Do and you have access to all of those recipes. On the TM6, it just becomes a little bit more accessible. You can search directly on your screen. Any changes that you make in your account, whether that be on your phone or computer, they automatically appear on your Thermomix screen. You don't have to sync it and wait for it and all of those sorts of things. On your big screen, you've got that kind of color search functionality and the videos and all of those sorts of things. But there's a couple of other things about Cookie Do that we just love, and I want to make sure that you guys know all about them. So I'm going to try this again, and hopefully my internet plays a little bit more fairly. Why can't I? Still trying to load the silly video. Go away. Close that. Oh. Round two, I just need to get out of this. Okay, so Cookie Do, a fantastic resource, really. So we've got access to over, I don't know, I think it's gone up to 100,000 recipes globally now. So we can cook some really traditional recipes from all around the world. Lots of different ways to search and find things. So we could search for something we've got in the fridge. We might have some chicken that we want to use up. What are we going to have for dinner tonight? We've got 1,417 possibilities here. That's a lot to go through. You might see something that catches your eye. You can jump into your filters and you can narrow that down. Do I feel like a chicken soup? Do I feel like a chicken rice dish? Do I feel like a chicken main dish? Do I have some other ingredients in the fridge that I need to use up too? So let's add in some broccoli. I always seem to have some broccoli in my fridge. So now I've narrowed it down to chicken and broccoli dishes. You can also exclude ingredients. You can add in tags. So all of our recipes are tagged with things like dairy-free, nut-free, gluten-free, vegetarian, Christmas, Valentine's Day, lunchbox, quick meals, things like that. So you can search by those sorts of terms. And then you've also got your preparation time and total time. So if you're in a hurry at the end of the day, you want something on the table in a short amount of time, you can narrow that down. You can sort it out by portion size and also by ratings. And you can narrow it down by language and region as well. So lots of functionality there. So here I've got my 19 chicken dishes that include broccoli. So I can scroll through, have a little look. When I find something that I like the look of, so chicken teriyaki is a delicious meal, I can go into it. I can check out the ingredients, the steps. You can see here where the tags are. These are the things it's been tagged with. All the nutritional content. So if you're counting calories or carbs or something like that, no problem. Some tips and tricks. And I can book that today. So by pressing that, that automatically comes over to my TM6 and saves itself in my weekly plan for today. But I can also add a bookmark, add it to a collection. I can do my meal plan and plan not just my whole week, but my whole year if I'm so inclined, which is kind of a little bit beyond me. But yeah, meal 1 week at a time. Awesome. So plan that in, save that, and I can even add it to my shopping list, which is pretty cool. So then when I'm done, I can come up here and have a look at my week. Oops. Oh, somehow, oh yeah, I've got chicken teriyaki in there twice. And then I can go and have a look at my shopping list. So we can see here by category or by recipe. So by recipe, you can see I've got 3 things in there: chicken teriyaki, dairy-free tzatziki, and gluten-free focaccia. If I go back to category, I can go through the way that you sort of walk through the aisles. It's all sort of put together nicely for you. I don't need to buy water when I go shopping. I don't need sesame seeds. I've always got them. Don't need to buy olive oil. So you can go through, tick off the things that you know you don't need, and then you're left with a really comprehensive list of what you will need to get at the shops. You can also add in additional items. So if you need to remind yourself to get toilet paper, toothpaste, those sorts of things, you can have everything in one place. And then you can share that with your partner who's picking up the groceries on the way home. You can send it to yourself as a text message if you're worried you won't have Wi-Fi to access your list in the shops. Or you can hit order ingredients, connect straight to Woolies and pop it in your cart and organize your own click and collect or delivery. How good is that? From your cart here, you can easily swap a brand. If you don't like that brand of honey, you can swap that out quite easily for the one that you do prefer. So it's nice and easy to use. You can up and down your quantities and that kind of thing. So, you know, replacing the need for HelloFresh and Marley Spoon and all those sorts of things, here you get much more choice with your recipes. You still get your ingredients delivered to your door, but you have a lot more control over what you're doing, which we love. Taking away that, oh my God, what are we having for dinner scenario that so many of us absolutely despise at the end of a big day. Has anyone got any questions that I can answer about Cookie Doo while we're here?
I do.
Yeah, go for it.
Hi. So with the shopping list, if I was to then, so I've added the shopping ingredients I need for the chicken teriyaki, and then I'm
Yep.
going to look for another recipe.
Yep.
And I want to add them to the shopping list. For
Mhm.
example, if that needed a line as
Yep.
well as the teriyaki, would it then go to 2 lines on my shopping
Yeah,
list?
it would. Yeah, it would add them together. Unless for some reason they've been, so sometimes you might see, it might say broccoli florets and broccoli. So they look like 2 different things. It can't quite put them together, but most of the time it will put them together.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it is really good. Just keep in mind to go through this checklist first before you export it over to Woolies. There seems to be a maximum amount that you can take from your list to your cart. So take them out beforehand. You don't want to be buying your salt and your pepper and all of those things every time. So just scan over that. The other good thing with Cookie Do is that multiple people in your home can be logged into that one account. So if you and hubby and, you know, even if you've got older kids are using Cookie Do, they can be adding things to the meal plan, adding things to the shopping list, and everyone can access that one shopping list, one meal plan as well. So yeah, it makes it really user-friendly for the whole household. Anyone else got a question we can help with?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So if I found a recipe that I would like to share with Linda, can you just remind me how to share it? Like if I've cooked something and really like it and want her to cook it, remind me how to share that with her, please.
Sure. So if we go into a recipe, here's a recipe that I think everybody needs to know about. The good old margarita. From your phone, you'll actually have a little arrow square box thing up here that you can click on, and it says share recipe. From the computer, it's a little bit different, and I would just highlight the URL and copy it into a message or an email or something like that. I don't think I can show you the other way from the computer. You've got share recipe down here as well, so you could attach it to an email or something like that. But on your phone, it is very simple. Just in that top right corner, you'll see a little, it's like a little square with an arrow on top. If you press that, it says copy link or share recipe or something like that. I think, yeah, I don't think you'll be able to see it on my phone, but it is very simple. The other thing that you can do in Cookie Do now is actually add in your own recipes. So if you've got some favorite recipes from Recipe Community, if you've got a favorite recipe on Cookie Do, but you make a few alterations to it, you can actually create your own recipe and save your changes and share that with people as well. We've also got the ability to create collections and like playlists of your favorite recipes. So these are some that I've created. We've got a cooking class this weekend, an Indian cooking class. So I have a playlist ready to go for that. So I'm able to make up the playlist, and then I'm able to share that whole playlist with all of the girls in the team so that we've all got the recipes saved on our computer. So if you've started a collection of all your favorites and you want to share that with a friend who's just started Thermomixing, you can actually do that now too, which is pretty cool.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anything else we can answer for anybody while we're here? I can't see the chat at the moment, but I'm guessing there's nothing in there. All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. If you have joined because you're considering upgrading, it is a fantastic offer. You will get $300 off the price. You will get an extra bowl, blade, and lid set, and you can choose what you do with your TM5. So whether you would like to keep it, gift it, sell it, return it for us to sort out, that is all up to you. So it's a really amazing deal. What could be better than one Thermomix? Two. Absolutely. So yeah, if it's something you're considering, if you need any more information, please reach out to your consultant, because we would love to give you any more information that you need. For those of you that are just considering purchasing a TM6 at the moment, you can add on an extra bowl, blade, and lid set for just $29. So we've got some fantastic offers. If you would love to come and join our team, we've got a half-price business kit opportunity at the moment. So if you've already got your TM6, you get your business kit for $75. It's the cheapest startup business you could find, and you get to work with amazing people and have fun cooking food all day long like we do. So we are looking to grow our teams all along the coast. We'd love to hear from you if that's something that you have considered before. If you haven't considered it before, we'd love to talk to you about that too. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, please reach out if you've got any questions. We've loved having you. We do run a monthly online class called Inspired, and we pick a different topic every month. So when I send out the follow-up email to tonight's class, I will invite you along to that class as well, and hopefully we'll see some of you there.
Thank you very much. Really
Pleasure.
appreciate it, everybody.
Thanks for coming, guys. We hope you've learned lots of tips and tricks.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
You right, Sue? Did you have any questions for us? You good?
Thanks, ladies. I hope you got something out of it.
Yeah, it was, oh, hang on.